Good afternoon. Yeah, this is Mr. Quinn, and I'm going to be teaching you how to use Autodesk Fusion. I'm going to be doing it on um, a Chromebook. Autodesk Fusion will run on a Chromebook. It'll also run on the computers that we have in the classroom that have Fusion installed. Not all of them have Fusion installed. Um, let's see. So if you all right, let's see. So just to show you around a little bit, this is the part we're going to be making. I'm going to call it class exercise one, CLEX one. Okay. Um, so when we make this part in Autodesk Fusion, later on we could take this part and save it as a different type of file, and then go ahead and print out a copy of it and on a 3D printer. This is Autodesk Fusion is software called computer aided design or CAD software. So it allows us to design parts on the computer. And then again, as I said, we can print them out on a 3D printer if we wanted to. At the top right, I'm going to show you, you'll notice there's this little cube at the top right, and it's labeled. You'll see it says front, top, and right. We talked a little bit about front, top, and right views last week. So if I want to click on the front part of that cube, notice when I click on front, see now it brings me to the front view. And if I click on that arrow just above it, now you'll see it rotates to the top view. I can go click the one below, brings me back to the front. And I click the one to the right, it brings me to the right view. If I want to see the home, you'll see at the top left, there's a little house there, little home. So if I click on home view, this is showing us an isometric view. We just learned how to do isometric drawings on isometric paper. This is an example of an isometric view. You'll notice again that normally when we do isometric views, as I mentioned last week, the front view is normally when we look toward the top right, we always look at the front view. Okay, so again, this is the part that we're going to actually make. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this part and click on this little X there, and I'm going to show you how to make the part from scratch. Okay, now when you open up Autodesk Fusion, the website is called fusion.online.autodesk.com, but I'll show you that in class. It'll automatically open up a new file, and it's always called untitled, and it'll always have a blank screen right there. It's a good idea to go ahead and save it. All right, and this one I'm going to go ahead and call CLEX CL EX1, because that's what we're going to call this one, class exercise 1. Notice that I'm saving it in a location called my first project. I made a folder called unit 1.2. You don't have to make a folder. You can just put it wherever it's living by default. So we just created a class exercise 1. You'll notice on the left-hand side on the bottom, it's showing us class exercise 1, and it's blank. The one above it is the one that I made previously. Okay, so now in order to start making the part, I'm going to click on this, just showing you real quick on the tab at the top. Notice it gives me the name of the file, class exercise 1, CLEX 1. On the left-hand side, this is a bar that shows me whatever folders are open. If I want to close that, I can click on this X right there, and now it's closed. Okay. If I want to get it back, I can click on this show data panel. So that's what they call this. They call this the data panel. So I'll close that again. I don't need that. All right, I'm in what's called the design view. Okay, and right now I want to click on create. I'm going to create a sketch. So I'm going to go to create and then go down to create sketch. You notice on the right hand side, okay, there's a little three dots for it, which indicates a menu. Okay, and also when I clicked on that and I went over to create sketch, you'll notice a little box shows up explaining what it's going to do. Enter sketch mode where you create geometric profiles, etc. All right, so I'm going to click on create sketch menu. Now notice again, I'm seeing that little home with the front top right cube at the top. Notice it's defaulting to, this is a 3D object. So this is the first X, Y. These are the first planes we're looking at. I can start on this. This is called the work plane. Okay, this is another work plane, and this is another work plane. I want to choose the front view. So I'm going to choose this one right here, the front view. So I'm going to click on front. Okay, notice right now I'm looking at the front view. It's a lot easier when you're looking at the front view to go ahead and start making things. I'm going to make a rectangle, so I'm going to click on this 2-point rectangle. Notice in parentheses, it tells us that parentheses R is the shortcut for that. So I could have hit the keyboard shortcut R to make my rectangle. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to start at the origin. I usually like to start at the origin because it makes it nice and easy. and I'm going to go ahead and draw my rectangle. Notice it's giving me dimensions, but I'm going to just make it any random size, and I'm going to show you how to actually set dimensions. So to set the exact length, I'm going to click on Create, and I'm looking for dimensions. There it is, Sketch Dimensions. And you notice the shortcut right there, it's telling us is D for dimension. So I could have also hit the letter D. So I click on Sketch Dimension. I'm going to click on the left edge, and I want the block to be 2 inches wide. So I'm going to just type 2, and I'll hit Enter. And mine is defaulting to inches. If your Autodesk Inventor isn't defaulting to inches, if you just click on your profile at the top, notice it gives me my name, Robert Quinn. Click on that, and then I go to Preferences. And then now it should allow me to go ahead and specify what the units are. We'll look on the left side, General, Design, Manufacture, Render, Drawing. Default units, there we go at the bottom, default units. So we'll click Default Units. We'll go to Design, and see right here we change it to inches. So if it doesn't say inches, go ahead to Default Units, Design, and click on inches, and then we click OK. All right, so let me go ahead and continue. Next, I'm still in the dimension view. Notice the sketch dimension. Notice this is blue right there. So I'm going to click on this one at the top. This one's also going to be 2. So it's basically 2 by 2 square. Okay, next, I'm finished with the sketch. So up at the right-hand side, I'm going to click on this button that says Finish Sketch. So what we've done, notice now I'm back in isometric mode. I'm back in 3D mode. All I did was make a cube or a circle. I'm sorry, not circle, square. That's one part. Now I need to make my object 3-dimensional. Well, to make a dimension 3-dimensional, I'm going to choose Extrude. So this is what I'm going to choose, Extrude. Notice when I mouse over, the letter for Extrude is E. Basically, it adds depth to open or close sketch profile. So I click on that, and I'm going to go ahead and make it 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and specify 2. And you'll see right there it's adding some depth. And now I click on OK. So I just made a cube, 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches. Next thing we're going to do is on the front sketch. Notice this is the front. So this is the front. I'm going to right click the front, and I'm going to choose Create Sketch. So I'm going to click Create Sketch. And now I've made my sketch. Notice I'm looking back at the front again. I'm going to make a circle. So I'm going to click on the circle right here, and I'm going to make the circle. All right. I'll go ahead and draw a circle. It doesn't matter what the size is because we're going to dimension it. If you remember, to do dimensions, I can either click on this sketch dimension right here, or I can press the letter D, either one of those. And now first I'm going to click from the center to the left-hand side. First I need to make sure that my circle is centered. And now I click on it. Notice it's not exactly 1 inch because my cube is 2 inches wide. I want it to be in the center. So that's going to be 1 inch. And now I need to do that also, and that was in the X direction. I need to do that in the Y direction. So I click the center and then the bottom and make sure that's 1. And I'm also going to set the diameter of my circle. So I click the outside of the circle and I click 1. All right, so 1 inch. Okay, now I'm finished with that. So when I'm done, I finish sketch. Or if you remember, we said the shortcut for extrude is letter E. So I could click on finish sketch and then extrude, or I can just hit the letter E, and it finishes the sketch for me. And now it's trying to extrude. I need to tell it what to extrude. I'm going to click on the circle. Now it's trying to extrude out, away, down to the bottom left. I want to go into the part, up to the top right. So I'm going to click and drag to the right so that it's actually going to go into the part. And then now it's giving me an option for distance. I want to go all the way through the part. So I'm going to click on this right-hand side under extrude. I'm going to click on distance, and I'm going to choose all so it goes through the whole part. All right. And now notice it's under operation. It says cut. So it's actually cutting a hole. And I'm done. I click OK. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the right-hand side. See, there's the right. So I'm going to right-click on the right side, and I'm going to choose Create Sketch. And remember, I'm going to click on Circle here. Click on Circle, and I'll draw a circle. Okay. And now I can hit D for dimension, or I can click on Sketch Dimension, either one of those. And I'm going to go from the center to the left edge. From the center. Oops. If you have a problem, if it does something weird, just hit the escape. It'll get you out of it. So dimension, and I'm going to click the center, and I'm going to click the left edge. Again, if it doesn't take, that's weird. Hit escape. If it's not doing what you need to do, click on D for dimension, click the center and the left edge, escape, click the center. I'll try the bottom. It's acting strange. This is weird. I'm just going to click on the home again. So I want to click the center and then the left edge. Hit escape. This is odd. Click back on right. Dimension. There we go. Okay. 1, enter. I'm going to click the center and then the bottom. 1, enter. Click the diameter. Set that to 1, enter. Notice I'm setting 3 dimensions, the center to the left, the center to the bottom, and also the diameter of the circle. I'm done. I can either finish sketch or I can just hit E for extrude. Okay, to extrude, I'm going to click on the home up at the top, click on the little home so that way you can see where we're going. Now I'm going to click on this circle right here. I don't want to go out. I want to go into the part, so I'm going to click and drag in. Notice when I do that, it changes to cut. And now instead of distance, I'm going to go to all, so it goes all the way through the part, and then we click OK. Last hole we're going to do is on the top. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose Create Sketch, and I'm going to make a circle. All right, D for dimension. I click the center and then the left, and I'm going to set that to 1. I'm going to go from the center down to the bottom, and I'm going to set that to 1. And I'm just going to click the circle, and I'm going to drag out, set that to 1. Now I want to extrude the hole. Remember, extrude is E. Hit E for extrude. And now I'm going to click on the circle. Notice, right, when you click the circle, notice the operation says new body. As I take the arrow and I swap it to go down, all of a sudden it's cut, because that's really what we're going to do. We're going to cut into the hole. And now I'm going to change it from distance to all, so it goes all the way through the part. So I'm going to click OK. So now I'm done with this. Okay. Now I'm done. You always want to click on save. So I'm going to click on this little save button. Looks like a little floppy disk. Notice it also says Control S will save it. I'm going to click on save, version description, and I'm just going to call it CLEX 1. Okay. And then now what we can do, just so you can get an idea, if I click on the front view, notice it goes all the way through. If I click on the right, see it on the right view, it goes all the way through. Click on the top, see it goes all the way through. And if you want to see the isometric view, click on the house. All right. So we're done making class exercise 1. So again, make sure you save your work, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you for listening.